My precious child, the clock in the spirit realm has already begun to move, and you do not even realize how close you are to a divine interruption. Archangel Michael says you have only 45 minutes left. God is trying to reach you, and you keep skipping the signs. Don't hurt God by ignoring this again. Something unexpected is about to happen. This is not a random message. This is not just another video. This is a spiritual alarm that has been ringing in the unseen realm, and heaven has been waiting for you to pause long enough to hear it. Right now, there is a sacred urgency surrounding you. You have been scrolling. You have been distracted. You have been telling yourself, later. But heaven does not operate on your delay. Heaven moves on divine timing. And that timing is now pressing against your life with intensity. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian of divine messages, a warrior of truth, and a protector of destiny. When he speaks, it is not to frighten you. That is to awaken you. There is a window that has opened over your life, and it will not stay open forever. 4 to 5 minutes. Not symbolic, not poetic, but a measure of divine opportunity. Something is shifting in your atmosphere. You may not see it yet, but in the spiritual realm, movements have already begun. Conversations about your future are taking place. Doors are being weighed. Decisions are being prepared. And the question echoing through heaven is this: will you finally respond? God has been whispering to you through subtle signs, through repeated numbers that catch your eye, through sudden thoughts that interrupt your routine, through dreams that feel more real than reality, through that inner nudge that says, pay attention. But you brushed it aside. You told yourself it was coincidence. You called it imagination. You chose comfort over confrontation. And yes, God kept trying. Do you understand how deeply heaven longs for your attention? This is not about punishment. This is about relationship. Every time you ignore the signs, it is not that you disappoint a distant force. It is that you silence a loving Father who is trying to protect you from what you cannot yet see. Something unexpected is about to happen. And no, this is not chaos. This is divine exposure. There is a hidden layer in your life that is about to be revealed. A truth you have been avoiding. A decision you have been postponing. A connection that is either about to be strengthened or completely removed. The next 45 minutes are not about fear. They are about alignment. Archangel Michael is not sent randomly. He is sent when spiritual warfare surrounds destiny. And you, whether you realize it or not, are standing at a crossroads. One path leads to continued delay. The other leads to divine acceleration. The signs you kept skipping were not small. That unexpected conversation. That closed door that hurt your pride. A sudden urge to pray after months of silence. The discomfort you feel when certain people speak. These were not accidents. They were invitations. Heaven had been knocking gently. But now, the knocking is becoming louder. You may be asking yourself, why 45 minutes? What does that even mean? It means this. There is a moment coming very soon where you will be presented with something. A message, a call, a realization, an opportunity, and how you respond will shape the next chapter of your life. This is not about superstition. This is about spiritual sensitivity. God is trying to reach you because He sees what is ahead. He sees the trap you almost stepped into. He sees the blessing you almost walked past. He sees the relationship that is draining your anointing. He sees the decision that could either unlock favor or invite unnecessary struggle. And because He loves you, He sends warning before consequence. Archangel Michael's voice carries urgency because the spiritual battle around you has intensified. There are forces that benefit from your distraction. There are influences that celebrate when you ignore divine nudges. Every time you scroll past conviction, every time you mute your conscience, you give delay more power. But today, something is different. Today you stop. Today, you are listening. And that alone has already shifted the atmosphere. The unexpected event approaching is not random chaos. It is a divine interruption designed to wake you up fully. It may come as clarity. It may come as confrontation. It may come as confirmation of something you have been secretly feeling. But when it comes, you will remember this moment. You will remember that heaven tried to prepare you. You not hurt God by ignoring this again. That phrase is not about guilt. It is about love. Imagine someone trying desperately to warn you that the road ahead is broken, but you keep walking without turning your head. The pain is not in your rebellion. The pain is in watching you almost fall when you could have been safe. God is not angry with you. He is pursuing you. And the next 45 minutes are sacred. Something in your environment is about to reveal its true nature. Pay attention to your phone. Pay attention to sudden emotions. Pay attention to conversations that feel too timed to be coincidence. The spiritual realm is orchestrating alignment. Archangel Michael stands as a defender, but even a defender requires your cooperation. He can guard, he can guide, he can fight unseen battles, but he cannot force you to listen. Right now, your attention is your obedience. Do not minimize what you are feeling as you hear this. The tightness in your chest. The sudden seriousness. The sense that this message feels personal. It is personal. You were not meant to stumble into this message. You were led here. And what happens next will confirm everything. The countdown is not meant to scare you. It is meant to awaken you. Because when heaven counts down, it is not counting toward destruction. It is counting toward revelation. Now breathe. Be still. And prepare your spirit. Because the next moments are going to carry more meaning than you expect. Chosen one, the atmosphere around you has already begun to tighten, and if you listen closely, you will sense that something is pressing against your routine. The warning was not dramatic for attention. It was specific for a reason. 4 to 5 minutes is not about panic. It is about preparation. You are being positioned for a divine encounter, and how you posture your heart in this very hour will determine whether you recognize it or miss it again. Archangel Michael is not speaking to entertain you. He stands as a messenger in moments when destiny is at stake. There are seasons in life when heaven whispers gently, and then there are moments like this when the whisper becomes a firm and loving command. You are in that moment now. God has been trying to reach you, not because he is distant, but because you have been surrounded by noise. Distraction hath been your greatest battle. You wake up and immediately fill your mind with information, opinions, and other people's voices. By the time God tries to nudge your spirit, your attention is already occupied. That is why the signs felt subtle. That is why you kept skipping them. It was not that God was silent. It was that your focus was divided. But now something is shifting. Within this window of time, you may feel an unusual restlessness. You may feel an urge to check something, to revisit a thought, to reconsider a decision you made recently. Do not ignore that inner stirring. That is not anxiety. That is spiritual awareness increasing. Archangel Michael is clearing interference around you so you can perceive what is coming. There is an unexpected development forming. It may arrive through a message, an opportunity, or a revelation about someone's true intentions. Whatever form it takes, it will carry clarity, and clarity sometimes feels uncomfortable before it feels freeing. You have been asking God for direction, but when direction begins to manifest, it often challenges your comfort. That is why you hesitated before. That is why you scrolled past conviction. Yet heaven, in its mercy, is giving you another chance. This is the moment to lean in, not pull away. Right now, pause internally. Ask yourself, what has God been repeating to me? What lesson keeps coming back? What pattern keeps revealing itself? Those repetitions were not random. They were warnings wrapped in love. Archangel Michael is guarding you from a mistake that would have cost you peace. He is also positioning you for a blessing that requires readiness. You cannot receive what heaven is sending if your spirit is asleep. That is why this message carries urgency. Within the next few moments of your life, you will notice something that feels aligned with what you are hearing right now. When it happens, do not brush it aside. Do not say, "It's nothing." It is not nothing. It is confirmation. And understand this clearly. God is not trying to control you. He is trying to protect you. The unexpected event approaching is not meant to harm you. It is meant to wake you, to redirect you, or to affirm you. Some of you will receive a sudden realization about a relationship. Some of you will feel prompted to step away from something that has been draining your energy. Others will experience a door opening that you did not expect so soon. The form may differ, but the source is the same. Heaven is intervening. If this message is stirring something deep inside you, you not keep it to yourself. Like this video so that the algorithm carries this warning to someone else who needs it. Share it with someone who has been ignoring signs in their own life. Comment below what you have been sensing lately, because your testimony might confirm someone else's spirit. Subscribe to this channel and become part of this growing army that refuses to stay spiritually asleep. When you engage, you are not just supporting a video. You are amplifying a divine alert. There are others scrolling right now who almost missed their moment the same way you almost did. Help this reach them. And as you continue listening, keep your heart steady. The tension you feel is not danger, it is transition. Archangel Michael is standing at the edge of this shift, ensuring that what is about to unfold serves your destiny and not your destruction. You were not given this countdown to scare you. You were given it because you matter. Your obedience matters. Your attention matters. Your response in the next moments matters. Something is aligning even as you hear these words. And what happens next will make everything clearer than you imagined. Hold on, because the deeper layer of this revelation is about to unfold in a way you did not see coming. Beloved soul, there is a sacred trembling in the spirit realm right now, and it is not because something evil is approaching you, but because something hidden is about to be uncovered. The urgency you have been feeling is the sound of truth rising to the surface. Archangel Michael does not announce time-sensitive moments unless exposure is near. What has been concealed in shadows is being brought into light, and heaven wants you steady when it happens. For too long, you sensed that something was not fully aligned. You felt small inconsistencies in conversations. You noticed subtle shifts in energy. You questioned certain patterns but chose silence because you did not want conflict. Yet silence does not stop revelation. It only delays your readiness for it. God has been trying to reach you because He sees what you cannot yet see clearly. There is a layer of truth that is about to unfold, and when it does, it will confirm the quiet suspicions you pushed aside. This is not about fear. This is about protection. When Archangel Michael stands guard over a revelation, it means that the truth, although unexpected, is necessary for your elevation. Within this sacred window, something will click in your understanding. A conversation may suddenly make sense. A person's behavior may reveal its true motive. Or you may receive information that shifts your perspective instantly. Do not panic when it happens. Do not react emotionally. Observe. Listen. Allow discernment to guide you. Heaven is removing confusion from your path. You were never meant to walk blindly into the next season of your life. You were meant to step into it with clarity and strength. That is why the countdown was given. It was a loving warning, not of danger, but of awakening. There are moments when God allows truth to surface quickly because prolonged ignorance would cause deeper pain. If something feels shocking in the coming moments, remember this message. Remember that you were prepared. Remember that you were told heaven was intervening. Archangel Michael is ensuring that what is exposed does not destroy you but strengthens you. Sometimes exposure feels uncomfortable because it disrupts familiarity. But familiarity is not the same as safety. You may have grown used to something that was quietly draining you. You may have tolerated behavior that was slowly limiting your growth. That tolerance is ending. The unexpected event approaching is not chaos. It is alignment correction. And as this correction takes place, your response will determine the speed of your breakthrough. If you react in anger, you delay peace. If you respond in wisdom, you accelerate blessing. This is why God tried so many times to reach you before this moment. You wanted your heart ready. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. There is also another layer to this revelation. Some of you will realize that the person you doubted was actually sent to help you. Misunderstandings will dissolve. Truth will separate illusion from reality. Either way, clarity is the gift being delivered, and clarity is mercy. Right now, pause and breathe deeply. Feel the seriousness of this hour without letting it overwhelm you. Archangel Michael stands as a protector, not just of your body, but of your destiny. The battle around you was never about small things. It was about where you are headed next. This exposure is making room for acceleration. When the truth surfaces, do not shrink back. Stand firm. Speak calmly. Trust that God would not reveal something unless He was ready to handle its consequences on your behalf. You are supported in ways you cannot see. And now, as this revelation approaches, seal this moment with faith. Type "I receive divine clarity" in the comments if this message is confirming what your spirit had been sensing. Blessing code 4599 has just been activated over those who refuse to ignore God's voice again. As this code is released, understand that obedience unlocks protection. As the truth rises and the hidden becomes visible, this is not just your moment of awakening. It is someone else's rescue waiting to happen. When you sow into this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, you are not funding a channel. You are lighting a lamp in someone's darkness. The Lord declares, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it, and that light flows through willing vessels." This is your moment to say, "I choose to be part of the harvest." Every seed you release becomes oil in the lamp of another searching soul. Heaven multiplies what is placed in His hands, and your giving becomes a river that carries truth across nations. Do not see this as a transaction. See it as participation in divine exposure. As you act, you align yourself with the very clarity being released over your life. Those who build the altar also partake in the fire. The PayPal link is in the description, and your obedience today can echo into eternity. When you press Super Thanks or join as a member, you are declaring that God's voice will not be silenced. This is a prophetic act, not a casual gesture. As you give, may open doors chase you, and may hidden blessings locate you swiftly. Step into this moment with boldness. Activate your seed now and become a carrier of light. Faithful one, now that clarity has begun to rise, you may feel an unusual mixture of relief and intensity within your spirit. That is because revelation does not just inform you, it transforms you. The moment truth enters a situation, the atmosphere can no longer remain the same. Archangel Michael stands watch not only over the exposure itself, but over your emotional response to it. This is where many people lose their breakthrough, not in the revelation, but in how they react to it. Something unexpected is still unfolding, and its full shape has not yet been seen. What you have sensed so far is only the surface. Beneath it lies a deeper adjustment that heaven is making on your behalf. You may notice that certain conversations feel different now. Words that once sounded harmless now carry meaning. Silences that once felt normal now feel revealing. That shift is discernment increases. Do not rush to fix everything at once. When God reveals, He also instructs. And instruction requires patience. Archangel Michael is not urging you into confrontation. He is guiding you into awareness. There is wisdom in observing before acting. There is power in silence when your spirit is listening. You are entering a defining stretch of time. The countdown was not just about one event, it was about a sequence. One realization leads to another. One exposure leads to a decision. One decision leads to a new direction. You are in motion now, whether you fully realize it or not. Pay attention to what feels lighter and what feels heavier. Heaven often communicates through spiritual weight. If something suddenly feels burdensome after truth has been revealed, that is a sign it may not belong in your next season. If something feels peaceful, even if it challenges you, that may be where your obedience is required. Archangel Michael is cutting unseen ties that were limiting your progress. Some connections were assignments for a past chapter, not your future. You do not have to hate what is being removed. You simply have to accept that growth requires separation from what no longer aligns. There is also a strengthening happening within you. You may not see it in the mirror, but your spiritual posture is changing. Where you once hesitated, you are beginning to stand. Where you once doubted, you are beginning to discern. That shift is not accidental. It is the result of heaven refusing to give up on you. God kept reaching because your destiny carries weight. Understand this clearly. The unexpected event is not here to disrupt your life. It is here to correct its direction. Many people pray for breakthrough but resist the adjustments that come before it. You asked for clarity. You asked for protection. You asked for guidance. This is what it looks like when those prayers are answered. There may be a moment very soon where you are tempted to ignore what you now know. Comfort will whisper to you. Familiarity will try to pull you back into old patterns. But remember how urgent this message felt. Remember the sacred seriousness of the countdown. Archangel Michael is reinforcing your courage. You are not weak for feeling emotional. You are human. But you are also called to rise above impulse. Let wisdom lead you. Let prayer steady you. If you need to step back from a conversation, do so with grace. If you need to reconsider a commitment, do so with honesty. The power in this hour is not in dramatic action. It is in aligned action. Something is being rearranged behind the scenes. Opportunities that once seemed distant are being repositioned closer to you. People who carry integrity are being aligned with your path. Doors that were previously closed are quietly unlocking. But you cannot walk through new doors while clinging to old illusions. This is your refining moment. Archangel Michael's presence in this message signals protection during transition. When warriors stand guard, it means movement is happening, and movement requires trust. You may not know every detail of what is ahead, but you know this: God is actively intervening. Let that truth calm you. The unexpected does not mean uncontrolled. It means unplanned by you, but designed by heaven. You are not losing stability, you are gaining direction. Even if the next few hours feel intense, they are purposeful. Stay observant. Stay prayerful. Stay steady. You are no longer the person who keeps skipping the signs. You are becoming the one who responds to them. And that shift alone changes everything that follows. The unfolding is not finished. The deeper layer of this divine interruption is still approaching, and what you choose next will echo far beyond this hour. Steady your heart now, because what is happening around you is no longer subtle. The shift that began quietly is starting to take visible form. You may already feel it: a difference in tone, a change in atmosphere, a sudden awareness that something is concluding while something else is beginning. This is not coincidence. This is transition unfolding in real time. Archangel Michael remains present in this hour, not as a distant observer, but as a guardian over your spiritual focus. The danger was never the event itself. The danger was your distraction. And now that your eyes are opening, heaven is accelerating what was delayed. There is a divine rearrangement taking place. You might notice that certain things are no longer holding the same emotional grip on you. Conversations that once strained you now reveal their emptiness. Situations that once intimidated you now seem smaller. This is not because the circumstances changed overnight. It is because your discernment has sharpened. God was trying to reach you before the shift so that you would not misinterpret what is happening now. Without preparation, you might have called this chaos. With awareness, you can recognize it as correction. Something unexpected may surface in the form of truth spoken by someone you did not expect. It may come through an opportunity that demands quick but wise decision-making. It may even come as a sudden closure that forces you to release control. However it appears, it will test your alignment. And this is the deeper layer. Not everything that leaves your life is loss. Some things exit because they have completed their assignment. Some doors close because they were never meant to be permanent. The pain you feel in letting go does not mean you are making the wrong choice. It means you are shedding a layer that no longer fits your future. Archangel Michael is cutting away unseen resistance. You asked for growth, but growth requires pruning. You asked for peace, but peace requires boundaries. You asked for elevation, but elevation demands separation from what weighs you down. The countdown was heaven's way of saying, prepare yourself emotionally. Because when truth meets timing, it can feel overwhelming if you are unprepared. Yet you were warned. You were invited to pay attention. And now, as things unfold, you are not standing in shock. You are standing in awareness. There may also be a realization about your own behavior. Do not ignore that. Sometimes the unexpected event is internal. A conviction, a sudden clarity about a habit, a realization that you have been settling for less than you deserve. That, too, is divine intervention. God is not only exposing external influences, He is refining internal patterns. This is not about shame. It is about empowerment. When you see clearly, you gain the authority to change. And change, though uncomfortable, is the gateway to breakthrough. You may feel moments of resistance rising within you. A voice saying, "This is too much." Another saying, "Maybe I should just go back to how things were." But remember the weight of those earlier days. Remember the confusion. Remember the subtle dissatisfaction that lingered even when things seemed stable. Stability without alignment is fragile. Archangel Michael's presence signals that this transition is protected. Even if conversations become intense, you are guarded. Even if emotions rise, you are supported. Even if decisions feel heavy, you are not alone. Something significant is forming in the unseen realm as a result of your willingness to listen. Favor often follows obedience quietly at first. You may not see immediate reward, but peace will begin to replace anxiety. Clarity will replace doubt. Strength will replace hesitation. Watch how quickly your perspective shifts once you fully accept what is happening. What felt like disruption will begin to look like direction. What felt like loss will begin to look like liberation. You are stepping into a cleaner atmosphere. But there is still one more internal battle ahead. The battle between fear and faith. Fear will try to convince you that the unexpected means instability. Faith will remind you that God warned you before it arrived. Choose faith. Because what is unfolding now is not meant to break you. It is meant to break limitations off of you. And once those limitations fall, you will realize that the urgency of that first message was not dramatic. It was merciful. The shift is not slowing down. It is moving you toward something that requires your full attention and courage. And in the next movement of this unfolding, you will see just how intentional heaven has been with every detail. Listen carefully, because this is the moment where many people either rise into alignment or retreat back into delay. The intensity you are sensing is not accidental. It is the pressure of transformation. When God begins to answer prayers in real time, it can feel overwhelming because the change is no longer theoretical. It becomes tangible. Archangel Michael is still standing guard over this transition, ensuring that what unfolds does not overpower you, but instead strengthens you. The unexpected developments that have surfaced were never meant to confuse you. They were meant to reveal what was already unstable beneath the surface. Now you are faced with a choice. Will you lean into what God is correcting, or will you try to patch over what He is removing? This is where spiritual maturity is tested. Anyone can ask for blessing, but not everyone is willing to endure refinement. The refinement you are walking through right now is not punishment. It is preparation. There are doors ahead that require clarity, courage, and discernment. Without this present shaking, you would step into those doors unready. You may notice that certain truths are repeating themselves. Conversations echoing the same theme. Thoughts returning with greater urgency. That repetition is heaven reinforcing the lesson. God will not allow you to move forward carrying illusions that could sabotage your future. And here is something deeper. The unexpected event is not only about what is leaving. It is also about what is being entrusted to you. Responsibility is increasing. Authority is increasing. But so is accountability. Archangel Michael's presence signals that you are not just protected from harm. You are being equipped for leadership in your own life. The chaos you feared is actually clarity rearranging your environment. There may be moments where you feel misunderstood. When you choose alignment, not everyone will understand your decisions. Some will call it overreaction. Others will question your change in tone. But remember this. You are not called to be understood by everyone. You are called to be obedient to God. Obedience sometimes looks quiet. Sometimes it looks firm. Sometimes it looks like walking away without explaining yourself repeatedly. Do not shrink back now. If this message is confirming what you are living through, engage with it. Like this video so the signal of truth expands beyond this moment. Share it with someone who is wrestling with signs they have been ignoring. Comment what God has been revealing to you in this season. Subscribe and stand with this channel so that more souls awaken before their moments of decision arrive. When you interact, you are not boosting numbers, you are amplifying discernment across lives. And hear this clearly, what is unfolding next will require your full awareness. There is another layer of realization approaching. Something about your environment is about to become unmistakably clear. What once felt uncertain will no longer feel confusing. The pressure you sense is the final stretch of resistance breaking. Archangel Michael is reinforcing your spiritual armor. Doubt may try to whisper, "What if I am overthinking?" But peace will counter, "No, you are finally seeing." Trust the peace more than the fear. Peace is the evidence that you are aligned. You may also notice a sudden opportunity to respond differently than you would have before. A chance to speak calmly instead of react emotionally. A chance to decline something that once would have tempted you. That is growth in motion. The countdown that began this journey was not about a single ticking clock. It was about awakening you before the decisive moment arrived. And now that decisive moment is near. Stay alert. This is where you will see the difference between reacting from habit and responding from wisdom. Archangel Michael is not fighting battles for you so that you can remain passive. He is guarding you so that you can act courageously. The unexpected shift that is for will not last long in its intense form. It will settle. But what it produces in you will remain. Stronger boundaries. Clearer perception. Deeper trust in God's voice. You were almost someone who ignored the signs again. But you stop. You listen. And then change the trajectory. Do not drift now. Because what is about to be revealed in the next unfolding layer will either confirm everything you have sensed, or challenge you to take one final bold step. Either way, you are closer to breakthrough than you realize. Stay with this, because what comes next will tie every signal together in a way that makes the urgency unmistakable. Remain still in your spirit, because what is happening now is the turning point. The intensity you have been feeling is beginning to crystallize into understanding. What once felt like scattered signals are now aligning into one clear message. You are being redirected, not rejected. Archangel Michael has not stepped back. His presence in this hour is strategic. When a warrior stands guard during transition, it means that what is being established is valuable. And what is being established in you right now is discernment that will serve you for years to come. The unexpected event that was approaching is no longer distant. For many of you, it has already begun. A conversation that revealed more than intended. A truth that slipped out. An opportunity that appeared suddenly and ended with clarity. You may have even felt a jolt in your spirit when it happened. That quiet realization saying, "This is it. This is what heaven was preparing you for." Notice how differently you are responding compared to how you would have responded weeks ago. There is less panic. There is more awareness. Even if emotions rise, they are not controlling you the way they once might have. That is growth in action. But this moment carries a deeper lesson. Sometimes we ignore signs because we fear change more than we fear confusion. Confusion feels familiar. Change feels risky. Yet God does not call you to live in constant uncertainty. He calls you into clarity, even if that clarity requires courage. Archangel Michael's role in your life during this season is not only to protect you from external harm, but to guard your focus. Distraction will try one more time to pull you away. You may suddenly feel tempted to minimize what just happened, to tell yourself it was not significant, to rationalize behavior that your spirit clearly recognized as misaligned. Do not shrink the revelation. What has been shown to you carries purpose. If someone's true intention surfaced, believe what you saw. If an opportunity appeared that aligns with your growth, do not dismiss it out of fear. If a door closed firmly, stop trying to reopen it. Heaven does not expose without reason. There is also an internal strengthening happening simultaneously. You are beginning to trust your discernment again. For a while, you doubted your own intuition. You questioned whether you were overthinking or being too sensitive. But now you see that what you sensed was accurate. This restoration of self-trust is part of the breakthrough. Archangel Michael is reinforcing your spiritual confidence. Confidence rooted in alignment, not arrogance. Confidence that says, I will no longer ignore what God shows me. As the dust settles from the unexpected moment, you may feel a wave of clarity washing over you. Things that felt tangled now feel simple. Decisions that felt overwhelming now feel obvious. This is the peace that follows obedience. But understand something important. Clarity also demands action. You cannot unsee what has been revealed. You cannot unknow what has been confirmed. And pretending otherwise would only restart the cycle of delay. There may be one final step that feels bold. A conversation you need to have. A boundary you need to set. A commitment you need to release. This is not about aggression. It is about alignment. Speak calmly. Act wisely. Move intentionally. Archangel Michael is not urging you into chaos. He is guiding you into stability through truth. The urgency that began this journey is transforming into assurance. You were warned because you were valued. You were awakened because you were loved. And now you are positioned. Something new is forming in the background of your life. A connection that honors you. An opportunity that respects your growth. A season that does not require you to silence your discernment. But before that newness fully manifests, the old energy must lose its hold. Let it go without bitterness. Let it go without revenge. Let it go with quiet strength. You are not losing. You are upgrading. And as this chapter turns, you will realize that the 45-minute warning was not about fear. It was about mercy. It was heaven's way of saying, prepare yourself, because clarity is about to set you free. The unfolding is not complete yet. There is still a deeper layer of purpose behind all of this. Something connected not just to what you are leaving, but to what you are stepping into. And when that final layer is revealed, you will see that nothing about this interruption was accidental. Hear this with a calm but alert spirit, because what you are stepping into now is not just resolution. It is revelation of purpose. The unexpected event was never the destination. It was the doorway. And now that you have walked through it with awareness, a deeper truth is being unveiled. Archangel Michael remains positioned in your atmosphere, not because danger surrounds you, but because destiny does. When destiny shifts, resistance often tries to regroup. Old patterns may attempt one final whisper. Doubt may attempt to question your recent boldness. But what has been clarified cannot return to confusion unless you allow it. You have crossed an internal line. The heaviness that once lingered is beginning to lift. In its place there is sobriety, a seriousness about your time, a new respect for your discernment. You are no longer as easily distracted. You are watching. You are listening. You are thinking before reacting. A transformation did not come from fear. It came from alignment. The reason heaven pressed urgency at the beginning was because something significant is ahead of you, and you could not carry old blindness into a new season. The unexpected moment acted like a spiritual reset. It cleared fog. It exposed cracks. It strengthened your footing. Now you are standing differently. Archangel Michael's role in this chapter is to reinforce divine order around your life. Disorder has been losing its grip. Situations that thrived in confusion are weakening. Conversations that relied on manipulation are failing. You may even notice that certain individuals have grown quieter around you. That is not random. When discernment decreases, hidden agendas lose power. But there is something even more important unfolding. You are being prepared for responsibility. Clarity is not just for protection. It is for stewardship. The more clearly you see, the more accountable you become. The next season of your life will require wisdom that you did not previously possess. That is why this refining had to happen first. There may be an opportunity emerging that feels aligned yet intimidating. It may stretch your capacity. It may demand consistency. It may require you to trust God more openly. Do not mistake stretching for instability. Growth often feels uncomfortable before it feels natural. Archangel Michael is guarding the transition so that fear does not distort your perception. You are not stepping into chaos. You are stepping into calling. Pause for a moment and reflect on who you were before this interruption began. Notice how easily you tolerated confusion. Notice how frequently you doubted your intuition. Now look at who you are becoming. More aware, more grounded, more intentional. This is spiritual maturity in motion. The urgency that once felt intense now feels purposeful. You understand why you were warned. You see why distraction had to end. And most importantly, you feel the weight of obedience. Something within you has awakened permanently. And because you responded, heaven is accelerating what was delayed. Connections aligned with your purpose are drawing closer. Opportunities that once felt blocked are gaining momentum. Peace is settling where anxiety once ruled. Seal this moment with intention. Type "I walk in divine alignment" in the comments if you refuse to return to confusion. Lesson code 8814 is now flowing over those who choose clarity over comfort. As this code is activated, understand that alignment attracts favor. As you step into alignment and clarity strengthens your path, this is the hour to become a co-laborer in this awakening. The Lord whispers, "As long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest shall not cease, and every seed sown into this mission becomes light in someone else's midnight." When you release super thanks, join membership, or sow through PayPal in the description, you are not supporting a platform. You are fueling a fire that reaches wandering hearts. Say within yourself, "I will be part of the harvest God is gathering." Your giving becomes oil that keeps this lamp burning across nations. What you release in faith returns as provision, protection, and open heavens over your own house. This is not charity. This is covenant participation. When you act now, you align your resources with your revelation. Those who water others will themselves be watered. As you sow, may unexpected favor locate you swiftly. Do not delay obedience when the Spirit is stirring. Activate your seed today through super thanks, membership, or PayPal and become a builder of light. Stand firm in this hour, because what is unfolding now is the confirmation stage. The shaking has passed. The exposure has happened. The clarity has settled. Now comes the evidence that you truly heard God and responded. This is where alignment begins to produce visible fruit. Archangel Michael's presence has shifted from urgent warning to steady reinforcement. The battle that once surrounded your attention has weakened. You are no longer as easily pulled into confusion. You are not reacting from impulse. You are responding from discernment. A change alone has altered your trajectory more than you realize. Something subtle but powerful is happening around you. Doors that once felt locked are showing signs of movement. Conversations that once led nowhere are now leading somewhere meaningful. Even your inner dialogue has shifted. Instead of questioning every instinct, you are starting to trust what you sense. This is not arrogance. This is restoration. When God repeatedly tried to reach you before, it was because he saw the crossroads ahead. If you had continued ignoring the signs, you would have walked into unnecessary entanglement. But because you paused, because you listened, the path has adjusted. The unexpected event that seemed so intense at first is now revealing its blessing. What looked disruptive is proving to be protective. What felt uncomfortable is now creating breathing room. You are seeing with clear eyes. Archangel Michael stands as a reminder that spiritual warfare is not always dramatic. Sometimes the greatest battle is simply over your focus. Distraction with the enemy's strategy. Attention became your victory. You may also notice something else, an unusual calm. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are no longer resisting what God is doing. Resistance creates tension. Surrender creates stability. There are still small decisions ahead, but they no longer feel overwhelming. You are choosing differently now. You are pausing before speaking. You are observing before committing. A discipline is the fruit of this entire process. You not underestimate how significant this growth is. There was a version of you that would have ignored the early signs and blamed circumstances later. But now you recognize patterns quickly. You sense misalignment sooner. You address issues with clarity instead of avoidance. Archangel Michael's protective role in your life during this season has been about more than guarding you from harm. It has been about sharpening your spiritual awareness so that you can guard yourself through wisdom. And here is the deeper revelation. The 45-minute warning was symbolic of readiness. It was heaven's way of compressing time to get your attention. When urgency meets obedience, acceleration follows. Acceleration is now beginning. You may see opportunities approach faster than expected. You may receive affirmation from places you did not anticipate. You may feel a renewed motivation to pursue something you once postponed. That is not coincidence. That is alignment releasing momentum. But remain humble. Clarity must be maintained. Do not drift back into autopilot. Continue listening. Continue discerning. Continue praying. Growth is not a one-time event. It is a posture. There may still be individuals who do not understand your shift. Let them misunderstand. You are not responsible for managing everyone's perception. You are responsible for guarding your peace. Peace is your new foundation. Archangel Michael's steady presence reminds you that even when urgency fades, vigilance remains important. Stay anchored. Stay alert. Stay intentional. Something else is approaching, but this time it is not exposure. It is expansion. Expansion requires space, and space was created through everything you just walked through. The confusion cleared room. The exposure removed obstacles. The obedience positioned you correctly. Now, prepare your heart for increase. Increase in wisdom. Increase in confidence. Increase in opportunity. Increase in responsibility. You are not the same person who first heard that warning. You are more grounded, more aware, more spiritually awake. And because you responded when heaven called, the next unfolding will not feel like a crisis. It will feel like confirmation that you were guided all along. The journey is not ending here. There is still one more essential layer of understanding that will seal everything together, something that will show you why this interruption had to happen exactly when it did. And when that final layer is revealed, you will see that the timing was not random. It was precise. Watch closely now, because what is unfolding is no longer just about protection or correction. It is about positioning. The urgency that once pressed against you has transformed into momentum. You are not standing at a crossroads anymore. You are stepping onto a path that has been quietly prepared for you. Archangel Michael's presence in this season hath been strategic from the beginning. When the warning came, it was because delay had reached its limit. When exposure happened, it was because confusion had overstayed its time. Now that clarity has taken root, heaven is shifting you forward. There is a distinct difference between being saved from something and being sent into something. You have already experienced the rescue. Now you are entering the assignment. The unexpected event that felt so intense at first is revealing its deeper purpose. It was not merely about removing what was misaligned. It was about freeing your attention so you could recognize what truly belongs to you. Distraction steals direction. And now that distraction has weakened, direction is becoming obvious. You may begin noticing ideas resurfacing that you once abandoned. Plans that felt unrealistic now seem possible. Conversations that once intimidated you now feel manageable. This is not overconfidence. It is clarity empowered by obedience. Archangel Michael does not just defend. He prepares warriors for forward movement. And although you may not see yourself as a warrior, the fact that you chose to listen when you could have ignored speaks volumes about your strength. There is an opportunity forming that will test your readiness to act boldly. It may involve stepping into leadership in a small but meaningful way. It may involve saying yes to something that stretches your comfort zone. It may involve letting go of a final attachment that no longer fits who you are becoming. Do not hesitate now. Hesitation was part of the old pattern. Awareness is part of the new one. Something about your environment is aligning in subtle ways. Timing is becoming favorable. Resistance is decreasing. Support is emerging from unexpected directions. This is what happens when you stop fighting what God is doing and start cooperating with it. You are no longer in reaction mode. You are in preparation mode. And preparation requires consistency. Stay disciplined. Stay prayerful. Stay alert. The next season will reward steadiness, not impulsiveness. If this journey had been speaking directly to your situation, do not remain silent. Like this video so that others who are on the verge of missing their moment can be awakened in time. Share it with someone who has been ignoring repeated signs in their life. Comment below what shifted for you during this process, because your testimony might unlock clarity for someone else. Subscribe and stand with this community so that more souls encounter these divine interruptions before it is too late. When you engage, you are multiplying awareness beyond your own story. And lean in, because what comes next is critical. There is one final internal adjustment happening. Confidence is rising, but pride must not rise with it. Clarity has strengthened you, but humility must anchor you. Archangel Michael's protective covering remains because growth without humility can create a new kind of blindness. Stay grounded. Remember how easily distraction once controlled you. Remember how subtle confusion felt normal. Let that memory keep you watchful, not fearful, but wise. You are stepping into a season where decisions carry greater weight. People will notice your steadiness. Some will seek your advice. Others will test your boundaries. This is not accidental. You are evolving. The 45-minute warning was not about a ticking clock on a single event. It was about compressing urgency so you would awaken before opportunity arrived. Opportunity is now within reach. But opportunity must be embraced. Do not sabotage progress by revisiting what God removed. Do not question what He confirmed. Do not minimize what He revealed. A shift is real. The growth is real. The positioning is real. And very soon, One more revelation will seal this entire process in a way that makes you realize just how intentional every moment has been. Hold steady, because the final unveiling will connect everything: the warning, the exposure, the clarity, and the calling, into one unmistakable confirmation. Take a deep breath, because what you are about to understand will seal everything that has happened up to this point. The warning, the urgency, the exposure, the clarity, the positioning, none of it was random. It was orchestrated with precision. What felt like interruption was actually divine timing intersecting with your hesitation. Archangel Michael has remained present through every layer of this unfolding, not because you were in constant danger, but because your destiny required guarding while you awakened. Now you are standing at the edge of realization, and this realization changes everything. The 45-minute declaration was never about fear-driven countdown. It was about compressing awareness into a moment strong enough to break distraction. You had grown comfortable ignoring subtle signs, so heaven intensified the signal, not to frighten you, but to focus you. And it worked. Look at the difference between who you were at the beginning of this message and who you are now. At first, there was tension, questions, a sense of urgency mixed with uncertainty. Now there is steadiness, perspective, understanding. You are no longer reacting emotionally to the unexpected. You are interpreting it spiritually. That shift is maturity. The unexpected event that unfolded was not just about revealing external truth. It was about revealing your internal strength. You discovered that you are capable of discernment. You realized that you can respond without panic. You prove it to yourself that when God calls, you can answer. Archangel Michael's role in your life during this season hath been to stand between confusion and clarity until you chose clarity. Once you chose it, resistance lost authority. Now here is the final layer. The reason God kept trying to reach you before this moment was because something larger than the single situation is ahead. The exposure was preparation. The alignment was training. The urgency was activation. You are being trusted with more influence in your environment, more responsibility over your decisions, more impact through your obedience. The interruption was not about preventing disaster alone. It was about accelerating purpose. You may begin to see connections forming between events that once seemed unrelated. A past disappointment now makes sense because it protected you from a greater entanglement. A recent exposure now feels like redirection towards something better. Even the discomfort you felt at the beginning now appears necessary. This is what divine orchestration looks like when viewed in hindsight. Archangel Michael does not guard ordinary moments with this level of urgency. He guards turning points. And this was a turning point. You were about to drift, about to settle, about to ignore another sign. But heaven intervened loudly enough to stop you. That is not anger. That is mercy at full volume. And now you stand changed. The atmosphere around you feels lighter because alignment has weightlessness to it. When you are walking in truth, you do not carry the heaviness of denial. You do not carry the tension of pretending not to see what is obvious. There may still be challenges ahead. Growth does not eliminate challenge, but you will approach those challenges differently now. With awareness, with discernment, with spiritual confidence. Archangel Michael's presence may feel less intense because the crisis of attention has passed, but protection remains. Guidance remains. Support remains. The final realization is this: God was not trying to scare you into obedience. He was trying to awaken you into partnership. Partnership means you listen when He nudges. You respond when He reveals. You move when he aligns. And you did. That is why peace is replacing urgency. As this chapter closes, reflect on how quickly everything shifted once you paid attention. That is the power of responsiveness. That is the reward of spiritual alertness. You are no longer someone who keeps skipping the signs. You are someone who recognizes them. And that difference will define your future more than you realize. Now prepare your heart, because the final sealing of this message will not be another warning. It will be a declaration, a confirmation that what began as urgency has matured into calling. And when that declaration is spoken, you will understand fully why heaven insisted you stop and listen. I awaken one. This is the sealing moment. Lot of fear, not of urgency, but of confirmation. What began as a divine interruption has now become a divine commissioning. The 45-minute warning was never meant to leave you anxious. It was meant to leave you aligned. And look at you now, steady, discerning, aware. Archangel Michael did not step into your awareness to create drama. He stepped in to guard a turning point. And now the turning point has passed. You can see clearly what was at stake. You were on the edge of repeating a cycle, on the verge of ignoring another sign, on the brink of walking forward with Parhilvian. But heaven would not allow it. God kept reaching because your next season required clarity. If you had entered what is coming while still distracted, you would have mismanaged it. If you had stepped forward while still doubting your discernment, you would have shrunk back at the first sign of resistance. If you had continued ignoring the signs, you would have called misalignment normal again. But that is no longer who you are. The unexpected event that unfolded was not the climax. It was the catalyst. It forced you to see. It forced you to choose. It forced you to grow. And growth with a real objective all along. Now there is something different in your spirit. A quiet authority. A settled confidence. You are not rushing. You are not panicking. You are not scrambling for answers. You are listening. That is alignment. Archangel Michael's presence in this journey was a reminder that spiritual battles are often about attention before they are about action. Once your attention shifted back to God, everything else began to fall into order. And here's the final truth. Something unexpected is still about to happen. But this time, it is not exposure. It is elevation. A door will open that feels aligned with who you have become. A conversation will confirm that you made the right decision. An opportunity will appear that fits your clarity. You will recognize it not because it is loud, but because it brings peace. This is what happens when you stop hurting God by ignoring His voice. You begin partnering with it. You were not warned because you were in danger of destruction. You were warned because you were on the edge of breakthrough and almost missed it. Let that sink in. Breakthrough was near, and distraction almost stole it. But you stopped. You listened. You adjusted. You obeyed. And now you are ready. Do not return to autopilot. Do not silence discernment for the sake of comfort. Do not trade clarity for convenience. You have seen what happens when you pay attention. You have felt the difference obedience makes. Carry this forward. Archangel Michael's assignment in this moment is complete because you responded. The urgency has transformed into empowerment. The warning has transformed into wisdom. The interruption has transformed into instruction. Seal this journey with faith. Type "I will not ignore God" again in the comments if you receive this commissioning. Blessing code 9021 is now activated over those who choose obedience over distraction. As this code is released, understand that your responsiveness has unlocked protection and favor. As you step into this elevation and refuse to ignore God's voice again, This is the hour to become a carrier of that same awakening for others. The Lord declares, "Give, and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over." And this is not just a verse, it is a living invitation. When you sow through Super Thanks, step into membership, or give through the PayPal link in the description, you are placing seed into fertile spiritual ground. Say within your heart, "I will help spread this warning before someone else misses their moment." Every gift becomes oil that keeps this message flowing across nations, reaching souls on the verge of breakthrough. This is not about supporting a channel. It is about advancing a calling. As you release your seed, heaven releases acceleration over your life. Those who build the work of God build their own covering. Let your giving be prophetic, not passive. Do not watch from a distance when you are called to participate. Activate your support now through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, and become a partner in awakening this generation.